coaching staff to search for other jobs without resistance. Y'all, this is baffling to me, and I cannot wait to hear each one of you all's opinions. This story is incredibly unique. I think that it is a bad look what Sean McVay is currently doing in Los Angeles. I get it. He won him a Super Bowl. Thank you for that. But he also threatened to leave last year, and as a result, they gave him a contract extension. Sean McVay, you're one of the greatest coaches of all time. You are paid to do a job. They are paying you to coach. But more than anything, relationships are remembered not by how you arrive, not by what you do, but more importantly, by how you leave. That's how relationships are remembered. Not by how you arrive, not even by what you do, but how did you exit? If you exit terribly, that's what we're going to talk about. Think about relationships that you all have had in your personal life. It's not about what endured. It's not even about how they showed up on the first date. How in the world did they leave your life if they left your life? Sean McVay, if you're going to leave the Rams, is this how you want to do it? Because what you are doing is hemorrhaging the franchise. Shady, what Sean McVay is saying is, all right, coaches, y'all go ahead and look for other opportunities. Right. His current OC went back to college. The Rams' current OC is the current offensive coordinator at the University of Kentucky, for context. Okay. So if Sean McVay leaves, whoever they hire as a new coach, whenever they get to hire him, because mind you, they'll be last in the hiring process since Sean McVay is currently there. Whenever the Rams get to hiring a new coach, the cupboard is completely empty. Like, he's not starting with the foundational piece of, okay, I might retain this OC, I might retain the DC, might retain the player personnel director. He's coming and having to hire brand new everything. I get what Sean McVay Joy has done was phenomenal. He brought him a Super Bowl from being irrelevant. But it's not about how he showed up, and it's not even about so much of what he did. Are you really going to exit like this? That, to me, is why I don't think it's a great look. But change my mind. Break it down for me. I don't
think it's a bad look at all. Who are we to tell Sean McVay what to do with his young life?
Very
Coaching is stressful.
The most.
It's a lot of hours, a lot of time away from your family. And when you're losing, it is not very rewarding, even if you are being paid at a high level to do it. And hell yeah, they were going to give him a contract extension. I just won a Super Bowl. I ain't doing nothing until I get a contract extension. I don't know what you think this is. Right. Of course he's going to get a contract extension. And what would the Rams have to be mad about? They've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one in the time that he's been there.
Talk to him.
He's still a very young person. It feels weird to us because this is a career. And so to step away from something that is so hard to attain, being a head coach in the NFL and being a head coach at a high level, it feels weird. But Sean McVay can do whatever the hell he wants. You won a Super Bowl in L.A., in your brand new stadium, with Matthew Stafford, who we didn't know if was even good in his first year with another team. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. People's life circumstances change. He's married. Maybe he wants to start having a family and he wants to be around with them. Maybe he wants to get into TV. I don't know what he wants to do, but he doesn't owe the Rams anything. And uniquely, I think what he's doing with the coaching staff is actually smart. Who's to say the entire coaching staff is going to leave? They might not leave. Yeah. And giving them the option of looking for jobs now rather than waiting to see if they'll be retained by whoever comes in. Because as you know, anytime there is a coaching regime change, guys want to bring in their people. So most of these coaches, if they stayed, would likely get fired. It's not a standard thing to retain everyone when you come in anyway. So he's giving them the option of making that choice for themselves, which is something that never happens in the NFL.
But, Joy, you speak of this a lot. I know the one thing you're very sensitive to as it pertains to coaches is how they treat their staff.
Right.
When Sean McVay signs an extension, if you were on his staff, if you're the director of personnel, whatever you might be doing on that staff, you assume that he's going to be there for another 4 or 5 years. So what you're doing is you're moving your kids, you're moving your family, you're relocating, you might move your parents, you might move your in-laws to L.A. because Sean McVay signed a deal saying he's going to be there. Right. So I don't know that I fully agree that Sean McVay doesn't owe anything to anyone. I do believe there are 20-plus coaches. I do believe there are players like Matthew Stafford who also signed an extension, Aaron Donald who also signed an extension. I do believe that within the confinements of those walls in that locker room that he actually does owe people something there.
Let me be very clear to all of you. Y'all don't owe me nothing. If you have an opportunity or something that you want to do with your life, you go ahead and do that. I'm not into, like, possessing people. I think it's weird. You're mine. I'm yours. We belong to each other, especially when it comes to business. There are no possessions. We don't know why Sean McVay's – first of all, he hasn't left. Like, he might not even be leaving. He might just be saying, hey, I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided. I might stay, but in case you feel uncomfortable with my current state of mind, please make decisions for your own career. But he doesn't owe anybody anything.
You're so selfish. Selfish guy here, man. First of all, He don't owe the Rams nothing. They should be worshiping Sean McVay. 12 long seasons, no playoffs before he got there. He show up, right? Young guys show up. He all small,
made it look
right?
easy.
Short dude, show up there with big bags. What do you do? two Super Bowl appearances and 1 championship. So yes, come on. Since 2017, he's the second most winning coach behind who? Andy Reid. Get this man his respect. Listen, to be a player is so stressful, right? You talk about moving your family, you're trying to make the team, you get a contract. To play, like it's such a mental game, right? You got to lock in every day, hours of preparation, practicing. It's hard on your body. A coach is worse. I used to watch Andy Reid sleep at the facility. So that's a lot. So after he won that championship, he worked so hard, stress on his body, his family, all this type of things. He might need a break. He wanted a break, they didn't give him one. He gave him an extension, right? So my thing is, I like a coach like this because he's respectful of the organization. Hey, listen, I might not be into it mentally. I need some time to think about it. In the meantime, all my coaches, they might get job opportunities. Let them seek out other teams. Other coaches might not do that. And a lot of coaches don't do that. And the last point I think what Sean McVay I love about him is, if he decides to come back, right? Because all coaches have that. They've been through this where they move their families out, they get fired. That's a coach's thing, lifestyle. If you ever meet a coach's son, he always talks about how he moves so much. I'm like, why you move so much? Well, I'm a coach's child. So they know that game. Sean McVay's fine. He comes back, he'll have many job opportunities.
I can't add anything to what they said because they illustrated it perfectly. But I take issue with the idea, especially in football, it is not how you leave it at all. Maybe that applies in life. We are on a show right now, respectfully, with Shady. Shady rides for Philly harder than anybody I know. And they traded him away at the peak of his career.
Well, Chip Kelly. That's correct.
The Eagles organization did it. I'm sorry.
Barlog says Chip Kelly.
There's tension between the actors who did it.
The Cowboys cut DeMarcus Ware, who's one of the best players in their history.
They cut him?
Yeah. He rides for them. Eli Manning, the end of his career, he gets benched unceremoniously. He retires. The Giants aren't really relevant. Yeah. Do Giants fans think about that, or do they think about the 2 chips? Yeah. For everything that happened, you're going to take some time, and maybe Rams fans or maybe the Rams will be annoyed that Sean McVay is doing this, but the banner will be there 20 years from now.
Okay,
Mike McCarthy's got a damn street named after him.
A street?
He got a street.
It better be a big one.
Let me push back. Because the star quarterback who we've talked most about this season is Russell Wilson. And we know as it stands right now, there's a lot of tension in Seattle between Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Earl Thomas, we know how he left the Seattle Seahawks. Earl Thomas is the greatest safety that the Seattle Seahawks have ever seen. We know how he left on a cart flipping the bird. So I do think, Dave, you did give me some great examples, which I will check off and I will co-sign. But conversely, I do think if you leave bad, then there is a bitter taste in the mouth of the fans. Or there's a bitter taste in the appetite.
What's bad about this? Breakups happen. They don't always have to be hostile, and you're hurt for a little while, but you could have real conversations. This is not working for me right now.
Let me ask you, okay, Joy,
we had good moments together.
You know this better than most. LeBron James, because you were there when he went to the Miami Heat. What so many people say about LeBron James is when he leaves, and I even think you brought this up and illuminated my mind about it, when he leaves, he hemorrhages the place he leaves. When he left Cleveland, hemorrhage. Then y'all saw how the owner of Cleveland left. When he left Miami, hemorrhage. The Lakers are if LeBron leaves, he will leave them in shambles. If Sean McVay does leave, he's leaving the Rams from a coaching perspective, from when you're looking at the bones of the organization, he would be leaving them in disarray.
Everybody hasn't left. They would likely get fired if he does leave and a new coach comes in because they want their own guys. It's not standard to retain an entire coaching staff.
Yeah.
Mostly everyone probably would get fired. Maybe they keep the equipment manager or, the team physicians or something, but they usually get rid of the whole coaching staff. So that's not he's giving them the courtesy of deciding not to be fired because they probably would get fired. But that's just not standard. And also to the LeBron point, Miami Heat fans love you, LeBron. Thank you for the championships, the 4 straight finals. We was all a little upset when he left, and now no one cares. You think anyone in Cleveland, Mohan, do you care that LeBron left? Nope.
He doesn't care.
Got a championship.
He doesn't care.
They cared the first time, but time heals all wounds, and you forget. You reminisce. People do this with exes all the time. You start to think about all the good. Remember that good time, man?
We had some fun.
But
don't
you think about how it ended?
Don't you forget, depending upon how well you bounce back. Miami was in the finals since LeBron has left. Cleveland now is balling.
They still got players, though. Ramsey ain't going nowhere.
Rams, yeah.
Stafford,
the
Aaron Donald.
players will still be there. Also, this isn't that unprecedented. I'm going to bring up a name, and I don't know, again, I don't know what Sean McVay is planning on doing. Obviously, TV has been thrown out there. John Madden.
Ooh.
John Madden.
John Madden won a championship, left coaching,
Oh,
and then
hell
gave
yeah,
us 30-plus years of incredible
Joy,
broadcasting and transformed the business.
Bang, bang.
We don't have to go that far back. Sean Payton as well. Going pretty well for him on a variety of fronts right now. I mean,